I will say, guys, no matter what, that you are welcomed back into this video. I have a nice beautiful topic here, which is how to grow. I am the growth coach 007, which is my old Instagram. You have to understand that I am the James Bond of growth. I am the person who really grows fast. I really grow really in an impactful way that I can help benefit you in the best possible way, more than anybody else in this world except Jesus. You have to understand that no matter what happens, that in life, you need to adapt fast. You need to realize that confidence is key. You have to realize that courage will breed you more positivity. You have to understand that positivity gets you further than negativity ever will, such as Zig Ziglar says. You have to understand that those people who are really positive minded are really going to learn how to grow. You have to understand that those people who are more like Jesus are going to learn how to grow. I promise you, when you surround yourself in a community of people who can teach you skills and assets in terms of what is assets, you have to understand that assets is something that gives you more life in your vocabulary. You understand? You have to understand that your vocabulary is an asset column. You have to understand that when you're increasing your wording and you're communicating more in terms of life, you will find yourself growing more. You'll find yourself doing more than everybody else. You have to understand that in order for you to progress and do 5 hours of video every single day, you need to do it slowly. You need to do it one step at a time. You have to realize that nothing ever grows where comfort is. You have to understand that those people who are surrounded by others who are negative are much more likely to waste time than those people who move away from the crowd and find themselves alone. I promise you, when you find yourself alone, you will grow even more than those who never even think about leaving the crowd. I promise you, the crowd is nothing special. I promise you, they've got nothing to do, those people. I promise you, they're all in a 9-to-5 job. I promise you that if you return to the crowd today, or if you went to go see your friends during the week, I promise you they're working. You understand? I promise you they're working. I promise you they have wives. I promise you they have kids. I promise you they've got someone else to tend to. I promise you that they have other people to tend to more than you. I promise you that you are the last person on their mind in life. You have to understand that Jesus puts you first, though. You understand? Jesus died for you. You have to understand that Jesus is everything in life. You have to understand that Jesus would save your life and also lead you and guide you everywhere. You always have a friend in Jesus. You have to understand that those people who can likely be able to adapt fast are the people who can think fast. You have to think fast, you have to do fast, you have to be a Speedy Gonzalez. You understand? You have to be a Speedy Gonzalez everywhere. You have to be the David versus Goliath, who is David. You understand? You have to be David. You never be a bully. You never be the Goliath who picks on little children. You understand? You never be that pedophile. You understand? You have to understand that bullies are pedophiles. You have to understand that bullies are pessimists. You have to understand that bullies are negative people. You stay away from those people, because that way you will grow. When you're away from violence, you will grow more. You understand? You have to understand that the key of growing is never judge what somebody says. Just listen. You understand? Just retrieve the information. I promise you that before you even watch someone, you have to be open-minded all the way. For the next hour in this video, you have to realize that you just never judge what I say, and you just go with it. You understand? I promise you that if you judge me based on what I say, you've already gone from this video. You understand? You've already closed your mind. Judgment means that you close your mind. You never have to do that. You never do that. You only open your mind in life. You never judge. You never criticize. I promise you, when you criticize, you close your mind to that person and having any type of friendship and growing friendship with them. I promise you that you judge them because they've said something or looked better than you. I promise you that you never do that, please. I need you to realize that growing is an opportunity. I need you to understand that I specialize in growing. I'm a grower. I'm an expert in growing. I promise you that I know nothing, though. I do grow all the time. I'm always a grower. I'm always learning. I'm always a student of life. I'm always growing. I'm always learning. I'm always keeping open-minded. You have to understand that in life, that's the best way that you can adapt and do anything. You need to be flexible, as Dr. Wayne. You have to be flexible, as Dr. Wayne Dyer says. You have to understand that in old age, you have to realize that you'll never have it. You understand? You will always be young. You'll be forever young. You want to be forever young. You understand? I mean, I'm already young. I never want to be forever young. You have to understand that you must be forever young. I mean, when you are teaching other people, you have to teach them in the best methods possible. I mean, you have to teach them skills in a way that you're always going to live life much better. You never want to be, you must be. You never want to be anything, you must be that. You have to realize that it's all about the foundation of strategizing your life through planning modules, which is just another word for saying you must plan ahead. I mean, when you use the word modules in any words, you're just referring to what you're saying. You understand? You're just using another word that's abbreviated to make the stupid people look more stupid. You have to understand that no matter what, you have to understand that you just be smarter than that. You have to be able to acknowledge what you're saying, and you have to realize that when you're using better words, you're making people smarter than stupid. You understand? I mean, the stupid ones really don't know what modules means. I mean, you go and search it up. You understand? I promise you that modules is just a basic, simple formula. I promise you it's just a module. I mean, it's just a model. Have you ever seen a model in life? I mean, you can see a person modeling. I promise you that's a module of life. I mean, that's one aspect of life. I mean, a module of life is doing this video. You understand? I promise you have a module course over here. You understand? I promise you that you can go and label this everywhere now. I promise you that you have to go and learn all the key symptoms of everything in life so that you can really start growing and find out more information about everything. I mean, that's the whole point of growth. I mean, that's the whole point of Jesus. You have to understand that Jesus is an expert in growth. I promise you that person will grow you more than anybody. I promise you Jesus will grow you more than me. I promise you no matter what, that Jesus said that even those people who are humans today can overcome Jesus and do more than Jesus did. You have to understand that no matter what, I aim for the next 73 years to do more than Jesus did. I promise you that Jesus said it. I can do more than Jesus. You have to understand that no matter what, you need to be a person who's really growing. You need to be a person who's far more foundational than anybody else. You have to realize that you have to stop fooling around. You have to stop joking around. You understand? You have to start being serious to grow. I mean, your life depends on it. You either start now or you start never. I mean, you have to realize you just be a person who's really starting in the best time. You have to start right now. You have to start this moment in time to realize that no matter what happens, you just keep moving forward anyway. You have to be encouraged. You have to be motivated. You have to be persistent in what you're doing. I mean, another word for persistent is to be consistent. You have to realize that they are relatable. You have to persist. You understand? You have to keep going. You have to be consistent about it. You have to make sure that you're always doing it. You understand? You have to be dedicated. You have to put some effort in. You have to be motivated, which means you have to be disciplined about it. You have to be enthusiastic, which is you have to be confident about it. You have to be courage and courageous about it, which is just to be confident and more confident. You have to realize it's never just about being happy anymore. I mean, it's about being happier. I mean, it's never just about being confident anymore, unless it's about being more confident. I mean, it's never just about having the lifestyle. I mean, it's about having a better lifestyle. You understand? You have to better your words. I mean, it's never just about communication anymore. I mean, it's about better communication. You understand? I mean, it's not about life anymore. I mean, it's about a better life. You understand? You have to be positive. You have to look at the better side of everything. I mean, when you're talking, you have to teach people the better side. I mean, that's optimistic thinking. I mean, that's optimistic life. I mean, that's a positive life. I mean, that's a positive lifestyle. I mean, when you are talking, you have to be able to use your you and I in every single sentence that you make. I promise you that I've been doing it in this video all along. I promise you I start every single sentence over and over again with my I or you. I mean, now I've just started with my I. Did you just realize? You have to realize what I've just said. I just realized that no matter what happens, that you always can see what I'm saying in these videos now. You have to be a person who's really growing anyway, no matter what you're doing. You have to look in the camera You have to look at people's eyes, and you have to really never look at yourself as you're giving a video. And you have to prepare each and every day about what's going to happen in the world. I mean, it never really matters about what's happening in the world. You have to realize it's more about what's happening with Jesus today. You understand? Because when you ask that question, you're going to find out that it's about your personal growth. You're going to find out about how you're going to grow today. I promise you that the world will never teach you anything. I promise you the world is plastic. I promise you the world is garbage. I promise you came to experience a world where it's full of garbage and also full of good. I mean, the only good in this world is something that's out of this world. I mean, it's something that you cannot see. You understand? I promise you the air in this world is good. I promise you it's fully good. I promise you, although, that you can never see it. You can never see what air is. You have to understand that something that you can never see, you have to understand that it's already here. You have to understand that it's something that you can never describe. You understand? I mean, that's what Jesus is. You understand? You can never describe what wisdom is. You can never describe something that's far beyond you. You have to understand that we are all part of this one sequence in life. You have to understand that we are all part of this one wisdom in life. I promise you this wisdom leads to eternity everywhere in life. I promise you that there's always more to create. I promise you that when wisdom can create something, I promise you that wisdom can create everything. I mean, there's nothing that wisdom cannot create. I mean, there's nothing that wisdom cannot create. You understand? You have to realize that when life goes separately, you have to realize that you make it one. You have to realize that when life gets complex in numbers, you have to make sure that you are really, really spontaneous when you're speaking, and when you're really doing a video, you just mind your own business and you keep doing a video. You just make sure that nothing is interrupting your video, because when you get interrupted, you may lose your sentence. Make sure you keep going. Make sure you keep persisting. Make sure you keep inspiring. Make sure you keep growing throughout it. You have to understand that most people never care about you. You have to realize that you need to put people in their place, and you have to realize that you lift them. You have to lift people. You never just put them in their place. You understand? Most people, I would say that most people are putting people in their place. I mean, they're kicking them down. I mean, that is never leadership, and that's never the way to live. I mean, you never kick people down. You be kinder in life. I promise you that kindness means growth. I promise you that those who are growing and being compassionate more and more in daily life are doing more kind acts than anybody else. I mean, when you're helping people with anything in life, it means that you're being kind. I mean, you're growing. I mean, the more you grow and be kind in their life, I promise you that you'll have more love to give. I promise you you'll have more inspiration. I promise you'll be more abundant. I promise you that you'll be more rich and satisfied with your life because you're growing. You have to understand that you remain dissatisfied, although you be satisfied in the growing of everything. You understand? I mean, you have to be dissatisfied with where you are now in order to grow. I promise you that if you're satisfied and you never grow, I promise you that you'll always be dissatisfied anyway. You understand? I mean, you can never just have enough. You need more than enough. You understand? You can never just have anything enough. You can never have enough happiness. You need more happiness. You understand? Why would you be enough happiness on level 1 when somebody who can get more happiness on level 10? You understand? You need to grow. You need to develop. I mean, you never stand still. I mean, you never need to stand still. Your life is either up or down. I mean, I hope that you go up all the time. I promise you that it's only one way up. I promise you that you just learn the key fundamentals of how to grow. You have to learn that no matter what happens, that those who are really distracting you, that you remove them from your life. You have to understand that it's sometimes even that social media can do some messages and message you while you're doing a video. You have to realize that you never let it bother you, and you keep sticking to the game, and you keep doing something that's really going to grow you. You have to understand that growth is I realize that growth is an amazing topic, and it's a really spiritual topic. I mean, it's something beyond this world. I realize that those people who grow are Jesus Christ. You understand? I pretty much will say that no matter what, you have to understand that meditation is growth. You have to understand that Buddha was big on meditation. I'm pretty sure that Jesus is big on meditation too. You have to realize that anything to do with self-defense in terms of growth is also in karate and martial arts and all this MMA. You have to understand that boxing is all self-defense, and you have to realize that self-defending yourself in a risky situation where you may die, I mean, you have to understand, you have to let go. You have to let go and you have to let God. You never abbreviate anything that's going to kill you. You have to realize that it's more about positive growth than having to self-defend yourself. I mean, you have to understand that sometimes the self-defense in terms of exercise and improving yourself and personal growth is the best decision to do karate and MMA and taekwondo and all these Brazilian jiu-jitsu and boxing and kickboxing careers. I mean, no matter what, but you understand, you never mix it up with going into the ring to fight for material possessions and to break people's legs. You understand? I mean, Jesus would never do that. You have to understand that Jesus never went to the UFC today and to boxing rings to fight people, and also Jesus never wrestled people either. You understand? Because you have to understand that Jesus was never entertainment. I mean, Jesus will never be an entertainer in life. I mean, Jesus was an entertainer in another way. You have to understand that Jesus was an entertainer in a smarter fashion. I mean, he will teach you something. I mean, most wrestling today is entertaining you only. I mean, they're not teaching you anything. I promise you that UFC will teach you nothing. I mean, it may teach you some self-defense tactics and what you have to practice. I promise you that although you never step in those rings and you never fight, you understand? You never fight anybody. You never pick up a gun, you understand? You never be the police. You never be the police because why would you be a slave to a 9-to-5 job, you understand? You have to understand that no matter what, you need to grow anyway. You need to outsmart people. You need to realize that is what it's all about. You have to realize that when you have a better life and people are jealous of you and hate you because you're doing something far better than them, you deserve it. You understand? You deserve it. I promise you that you never care about them and how you had to go your own way and how you had to go and do all your content on your own and without any help. So you have to understand that you are just crediting yourself for that. You have to understand that those people who hate you because you never said anything about how you're going to do all this and you went and done it, and 3 years later you're ahead of them 10 years in the game. I mean, you're ahead of them 10 years. I promise you that no matter what, they're going to hate you. I promise you they're going to hate you. I realize no matter what, that when they keep on hating you, I promise you they'll never be you. I promise you they're always going to be dying. I promise you that you deserve much better. You have to realize that those people who do hate you and realize that you inspire them because you do grow and they need to grow too. You have to realize that eventually 5 years down the track, I realize when they start growing more and more, that they are going to respect you more and more because they realize that you never wasted time in the first place. You have to understand that when they hate you first off because they expected you to really give them something in return for their services and to make you a slave to them. You understand? I promise you that you never go be a slave to anybody. You just go your way. You give free knowledge. I promise you that I find myself sending 50 to 100 spams a day. I spam people free knowledge. I mean, I give them 30 quotes in one spam. I realize I get 100 people every single day. I realize no matter what, I just helped 100 people every day. I helped more people and more people every single day when I do these videos. I realize that I just become more kinder this way. I realize that I get some positive content in terms of people who respect my dividends and what I've given. I realize I can say, good night, Danny. I love your content. You're so inspirational. I love what you say. I cannot believe what you say. You never need to believe what I say. You have to realize that no matter what, you believe Jesus only. You have to realize that what I say grows. You understand? You have to understand when you're growing, you're going to be someone much better. You're going to do something much better. You're going to really be inspired. You're going to really, really set the tone and set the stage for your life that you're just going to be the person you need to be. You need to learn how to do everything in life. You need to realize that growth is the best subject that I can give out. I mean, I can teach growth all day long. You have to understand that all my videos are about growth. You understand? I mean, growth is a massive subject. I love it. I love to delve into the power of leadership and communication and kindness and compassion and positivity and the law of attraction and spirituality and Jesus and Buddha and people who are successful. You understand? I love to elaborate on those people. I love to teach you based on teachings that have been taught before and how I can relate it into Jesus and how I can also add my own unique specimen in there. You have to understand no matter what, that you be original. You need to be original. I mean, you never go and copy other people and then say it's your name. I mean, you go and grab their quote, you paraphrase it into your own language. You understand? You paraphrase it based on what you understand. You're going to do it. You understand that? It's your quote. You have to understand it's your quote. I mean, go and find something to do in life. I mean, something to do can be anything that grows you. I mean, it's anything that you're interested about. I mean, it's anything that you really love to do that is really information based. I mean, that's everything that you need. I promise you that games will never grow you. I promise you that watching TV will never grow you. I promise you that educational videos and something of this nature where somebody is speaking with you and lecturing you in terms of content and giving you something positive, I promise you that those people will give you the best lifestyle. I promise you that Jesus was full of teachings. I promise you this video is full of teachings. I promise you that on YouTube you have free content, you have free Wi-Fi, you have, no matter what, you have something to do. You understand? You have a library, you can go and get a book somewhere. You understand? I mean, somebody can get your book. You go and learn. You go and get yourself an exercise book. You get yourself a phone. You get yourself whatever you can to learn. You understand? You go and educate yourself. You never go to these universities of the world. You go and educate yourself with your phone. You have to understand that I call my phone a Pokedex. I'm still a big fan of Pokemon. You have to understand that no matter what, I'm a person who's moved on from Pokemon though. I realize no matter what, I still talk about it. I realize that it's in my childhood. I realize Pokemon is in my childhood. I love Pokemon. You have to understand that no matter what, I'm still a person who loves Pokemon. I'm still in love with Pokemon. I realize no matter what, that you understand that I've just grown up in a way that I have to move on from it because I've got something better to do now in terms of Jesus. You have to understand that Pokemon never teaches me about Jesus. You understand? I'm more passionate about Jesus now. I will say that no matter what, that when you have to sneeze, you pause your video and you realize that you need to do it. I just pause my video to sneeze because sometimes I realize that it can look ugly. I realize I don't care about what people think. I realize that I can do it on camera next time. I realize there is no next time. You understand? I realize that every time you say there is a next time, you need to realize that you never pause your video in the first place. You go and you sneeze on camera or whatever. You understand? You just be yourself about it. You never have to go and hide anything on life. You understand? You never hide yourself. You never hide anything you do. You never hide anything of material that you have. I mean, when people are hiding anything in life, I mean, they're only causing themselves a less successful life. You understand? I mean, the reason I'm so successful is due to the honest ability to be able to expose myself more. I mean, I talk about my story more. I mean, I show my face on camera more. I do more audio and videos. I do more audiobooks. I send them up online. I share free content. I do quotes. I mean, I love it. I love to do it for free. I love to do it because I grow with it. I see results. I feel better. I have more energy. I have more experience. I have a better mentality. I feel more mature. I feel younger than ever. I'm a baby still. I'm a younger baby than ever. I feel born again. I realize that I have a better connection with Jesus because I follow Jesus. I realize no matter what, that following Jesus is all about how to grow. You understand? I mean, the more you grow, the more you follow Jesus. You understand? I mean, everybody's on their own path. You have to realize that your growth is important. You have to realize that those people who grow are really going to be able to smooth it out and are really able to, let's say, do a better job. You understand? You have to be a person who's really communicating, and you can communicate with anybody on a daily basis. You have to realize it's never about going woman to woman and man to man. You have to understand that Jesus never done that. You have to understand there's no growth there when you're wasting time. You understand? You have to understand that when you're seeking pleasure of the world, I promise you that when you're seeking pleasure alone, that it's never the way to go. I promise you that Jesus never seeked out pleasure alone. I promise you that types of pleasures are, you go for the cigarette, you go for the drugs, you go for the kiss, you go for the sex. I mean, you understand the pleasures? I promise you that you stay away from it. I promise you grow even more. I promise you that the real pleasure in life is growing and teaching. I promise you there's nothing else to do. I promise you that you have to go and learn how to read. You have to learn how to read faster. You have to learn how to teach faster. You have to learn how to communicate faster. I promise you that's what it's all about. I promise you it's about producing more content such as I do. I promise you go and emulate that and make it into your own words. I promise you that's going to develop you. I promise you that's what Jesus will do today. You understand? I promise you that's an entrepreneur. You have to understand that those people who can do that are going to be more like Jesus. You have to understand that the times are really, really young. You have to understand the times are young. I realize that just many people are doing old scenario and classical based stuff that nobody loves to do, because you have to understand that it's really about growing now. You have to understand that those people who love to be classical and be old, I realize that they are fooling themselves and lying to themselves about life. You have to understand that they're never really living life. I promise you that my biological dad is a classical person and really loves the old ages and what happened in World War One. You have to understand that I studied the past and what happened. You have to realize I learned from it. You understand? I mean, I never get stuck in the past. You understand? I move on from the past. I adapt quick. I change pace. I make sure that I'm that speedy Gonzalez. You understand? I have to be speed in life. I have to be the person who's really doing better. I'm not the drug speed. You understand? I'm never speeding in terms of life other than doing better. I'm always doing better. I'm never the person who is the car racer in the Need for Speed game who is going away from the coppers to be an outlaw. You get what I mean? You have to be the person who's really learning and growing in some aspect and foundational aspect of your life, so that you can realize that those people who are good for you are the ones that are teaching you something. I mean, when you're in a net cafe and you have the boys or the girls, you understand? I mean, when they're there and they're just playing games and Counter-Strike and Call of Duty and they call you a noob. I mean, they call you like a poor person. I mean, they say, you fucking idiot, you never killed him. I mean, they're not even nerds. I mean, those people are just lowlives. I mean, they're people who got nothing to do. I mean, they're people who are drug addicts. I mean, they're people who have no education. I mean, they're people who have no jobs. I mean, the people who are doing a 9-to-5 job. I mean, as soon as you have more success, I probably should they start saying, get lost. I never need to see you over here. I promise you that is the way life goes. I promise you that the sooner you leave your crowd, I promise you the faster you grow. I promise you the sooner you leave your parents, I promise you the faster you grow. You understand? You have to understand that I left my parents at 26. I left them. I realized no matter what that my mum left me at I realized my mum left me when I was 8. I realized no matter what that she's still with me, although she was never with me in Australia. You understand? I realized that she went to Germany. I was still in Australia. I was with my biological father. I realized that was 19 years ago. I realized that was just this moment ago. You understand? I mean, how old am I? I realized that I'm only young. I realized there's no such thing as old in my life. I realized that I'm only now. I mean, my age is now. I realize my age is now. You have to realize that those people who really speak their I intents, such as I did make a video about it, I realized I called it the I factor. You have to understand, you have to do that more and more. You have to realize that it's all about your I and you. You have to ask more questions. You have to be more graceful. You have to love yourself. You have to show off. You have to realize that today I went to Brisbane. I took all these photos. I took 1,000 photos. I mean, I went to the clothing shop. I got myself $100 clothing. I mean, I got a pair of shoes. I got myself nice cargo pants from the army. I got myself a jumper from the army also. I got myself a shirt which is elastic. I also set myself a discipline today. I said, I'm only ever going to wear elastic shirts. I love them. I mean, when you go to Adidas and Nike type stores and you find those stretchy shirts, I love them, because when I sleep in them, I realize that I can sleep in them nicely. I love it. I can wear them. I realize that every few days I throw them away. I get myself a new one. And I say I'm living the entrepreneur lifestyle. I mean, there was a big, nice connotation to it when I realized I need to be an entrepreneur. I realize now when I see an entrepreneur, I see Jesus. I realize now it's more about Jesus than entrepreneurship. I realize that it's more about let me live the Jesus lifestyle. I realize that's more broader for I now. I realize I never do it for I do it for Jesus. You have to understand that I make disciplines in daily life. I realize no matter what, that I'm always learning. I realized that the other day I was also in the shower. I said I'll no longer place a little paper that says my code to my door on the floor where someone may come in and see my code, because when I leave my electronics inside my room and I go to groom myself in the toilet, because I have to leave my room, I realized that somebody can come in and grab all my stuff and take it away. I mean, I don't care about the possessions. I realized that in the phone, I may have this video in it. I mean, that I'll die for. I'll die for my videos. You understand? I mean, I have content. I have my life inside my Mega Drive. I mean, somebody can get my phone and rob it all off. I mean, I have to go and get it. I realize no matter what, that nobody's going to do it. I realize that nobody ever will rob off anything of mine because I'll never allow it. I realize no matter what, I'm rich or better. I'm always a person really foundational in what I say. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. I'm always a person allowing life. I'm always allowing life. I'm just never allowing anything negative to happen to me. You understand? You have to understand, you have to be positive. You have to be away from negativity. You have to be around the best individuals on the planet who can teach you key skills. I need you to wake up. I need you to wake up. I need you to understand that you have to be strong. You have to be a person growing. You need mental fortitude. You understand? You have to understand what fortitude is. You have to understand that it's just a way to say in an abbreviated term. You understand? I mean, there's no quotation mark there. There's no negativity. Realize there's no negativity. You have to realize that you need to be a fortitude type of person who's really growing. And fortitude is just another way to say determined. You have to understand that when you're a person growing, you have to teach people every single word in a dictionary. You have to realize you connect the dots in a video, you connect the dots in an audio, you keep going, you make a mistake here and there, you say whatever, you understand? You still grow. You never just say whatever, you still grow about it. You understand? You teach people mindset, you teach people how to maneuver around the mind. You have to realize that it's never about the mind. You have to understand it's about the heart. You have to realize that when you're using your mind though, you only have one train of thought. I need your train of thought to be Jesus only. I realize now, I only have Jesus in my mind. I mean, when I have Jesus in my mind, I promise you that I'm centered. I realize that is all I have to think about because I think about something out of this world. I mean, Jesus is in the Bible. I just think about Jesus. I just go and do something above this world. You understand? You have to understand that is my mentality. You have to understand that's the way I go about life. I need you to do the same because that's going to motivate you. You have to understand that you can also be doing Buddha's work. I mean, Buddha's out of this world too. You understand? I mean, you can go and pick up someone's work. You can go do Nikola Tesla's work. You understand? You can go and do someone that died and you can go and pick up their work and you can go and start it. I mean, you'll be doing something out of this world. You understand? I just pick Jesus. I'm going to do Jesus' work. You can go and do Buddha's work. You can go and do Nikola Tesla's work. You can go and do anyone positive's work. I never need you to do Hitler's work. You understand? I never need you to do his work. I understand that guy kills people. You have to understand no matter what, the many people today are 99% of the society who are really, let's say, doing more Hitler's work. You have to understand no matter what that those people are nowhere close, although they are never really learning and growing. You understand? They're never really learning and growing. I mean, 99% of the world is never learning and growing. I mean, they're dying. I mean, they're doing alcohol and drugs. I mean, that's what Hitler does. You understand? I mean, Hitler killed all this. I realized that Hitler killed all those people because of the big ego that he had. I mean, the ego, which is the mind that you have to understand it's never your mind. You have to understand you control the mind. You overcome the mind because Jesus did. You have to understand that when your ego or your mind, which is never your mind, and I have to say that when the mind controls you, you go and do what ego does, which is what Hitler does. You understand? You have to realize that in order for you to never do what Hitler does, you must never do alcohol and drugs. You must be sober. You must become a vegan also, because you have to understand that there are many negative connotations going around that you must kill the pig, and you have to understand that many arguments are happening around the world because meat eaters are attacking vegans and vegans are living a better life. You have to understand that also vegans are also attacking meat eaters because vegans are standing up for what's better. You have to understand that the meat eaters just do not get it. You have to understand that even Nikola Tesla says that a vegan is much more superior than a meat eater. You understand? I mean, as time goes on, you have to understand that when you're a vegan, you will have more energy, you will look better, you'll always be skinny. I mean, you'll always be much healthier. I mean, you'll never be fat as a vegan. You have to understand that only fat people eat meat. I promise you, all fat people on the planet eat meat. I promise you, you'll never meet a fat person. I mean, You'll never meet a fat person who's vegan. I promise you, they may have turned vegan quickly and suddenly. I mean, I promise you they failed. I promise you that veganism and switching into veganism is 1 year at most. You understand? I mean, it's going to take you some time. I realized no matter what, that I was a fat boy. You understand? I was a fat man. You have to realize now I'm a baby. I'm a person really, really younger. I'm really much more handsome and beautiful. I'm never uglier in life. I'm only a person who's really doing something foundational in the way I do things. I mean, what are the things that I do? I realize that I plan my life ahead. I realize I drink soy milk. You have to realize that soy milk gives me energy. I realize I do anything that gives me energy. I pick up an idea. I use electronics, for example. I make up an idea from it. I realize no matter what with my electronics, I make sure that I can do anything with it. You have to understand that I can do anything with it. I can make sure that I can charge my phone. I realize that it helps me on the go. I realize that I surround myself with electronics that can help me do my work. I realize that when I do this video on the go somewhere and I have no power sockets, I need to make sure that I can keep my business running. You have to understand that you have to think smarter like that way. You have to think smarter that way. You have to understand that no matter what, it's only about what you're doing that's out of this world that really matters. I mean, you never focus on the world. You focus on something out of this world. I mean, you focus on someone who's done some work from the past and you go and pick it up and you start doing it. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, you look at the world today, you go and pick up what's working and you go and do it. You understand? I mean, what's working is those people who are really successful and more successful than you. You understand? I mean, they look better than you. I mean, they've lost weight. I mean, they've got results. I mean, you go and look for results around your community. I promise you that you'll find people who have the top results in your community. I mean, you can find always the top 3 people who are in your community right now who have the most status and the most growth in terms of health. I mean, you can go and find people who have more success than you in terms of health and nutrition and also results in health loss. I mean, never health loss in terms of weight loss. Understand? You can always find those people, although you can find them on the internet, and it's much better for you to go to the internet for that than to go around your community. You understand? Because you would understand that when you're a part of a community, I promise you they're going to belittle you because they've grown up with you. You understand? I mean, when you are saying to everybody in a community where you grew up with, in terms of you grew up with them, you grew up in this community of people, I promise you no matter what, that they're going to say, you, famous, I already known you from way back, you will never be famous. I promise you that you will be famous when you grow. I never need you to repeat what they say though. I never need you to repeat what they say. I need you to realize that you be smarter to never speak negativity of other people and that you never call anybody that is anything that they cannot be. I promise you that you will always be someone that's going to be more positive. You will realize that I just said that about myself. You have to realize that when I call you that you will never be famous, you have to realize that I have to now switch it over and I say you will be famous. You understand? I just received a nice beautiful boost in my growth because I will be famous now. You understand? I just taught you something. You have to speak much more broadly and in a famous kind of way and also in a growth type of manner. You have to understand that I'm famous. I'm famous already. You have to understand no matter what, I make it happen. I make it happen. How? You have to understand no matter what, that in this video I'll teach you how. You have to understand you have to keep the audience going also. You can never keep everything in 1 second, although you can. You have to realize that life is contradictory also. You must go left and right, although you have to live in the middle. You understand? You have to live in the middle. I mean, you can kill and you can never kill. You have to understand that you thou shall not kill. You have to understand the Bible. You have to understand that the Bible will say you must not kill, although you have a choice. You understand? You have a choice. I promise you that when you kill someone, I promise you you'll be caught. I promise you you'll be caught in life. I mean, everybody in the world will be against you and will try to find you. I promise you you'll be in jail. I promise you you'll be in jail or you'll die and commit suicide. I promise you might even kill yourself. You never know. I promise you that you never know in life. You understand? You never know anything. I promise you, although you can know more. When you say I know, you have to say I know more though. I know more. I know more. You have to realize when you know more, you have to realize you have to say I know nothing. I know nothing. You have to say I have to learn more. You have to realize I have to learn more. You never say you know more. I mean, when you say that you know more, I promise you will never learn. I promise you will never learn. When you say I know, you've cut yourself off. I mean, you've got nothing to say. You understand? You know nothing in life. You go and tell people that you know nothing. You understand? I know nothing. I know nothing because I still have to learn and grow. You have to realize when you know something, you've just lost. You have to realize that Socrates, who is a person from the past, said, you have to realize the only thing I know is that I know nothing. You understand? I know nothing. You have to realize that when you're a person growing, you'll know nothing. You always leave room for improvement. Leave room for improvement. You need to realize that those people in your area are going to really battle you for status and power and fame and money and for women and men. You understand? Just move away. Just go your way. I promise you they're all going in separate ways. I promise you never be around sheep. You understand? Never be around ducks. Go and fly with the eagles instead. Go where the wolves are in life. The wolves chase the sheep. Never be negative about it. You have to realize the wolves is just a positive trait to say you walk alone. You understand? You walk alone as Jesus did. You walk alone. You never chase people either. I promise you that the wolf, as a non-human animal, may chase the sheep and kill it. I promise you that you never do that. You understand? You go be the wolf though, who goes in the jungle and goes to find a better life. You have to understand that sheep will never go into the jungle to do that. You understand? Sheep always stick with sheep. Go be a wolf who goes in the jungle and goes and rides mountains with a pack and a team who's really growing. You understand? That kind of way. Never be negative in terms of what the wolf does negative. You understand? You have to understand it's more about growth. It's more about lifting. It's more about let's have a positive lifestyle. Let's have a positive environment around us. You have to be standing for something, and you just never be causing sympathy. You never cry because your mother or something died. You understand? Never cry about it. You understand? You have to understand that you never cry in a sympathetic way. I promise you, when you cry about anybody, you cry in a way that's you're really, really showing joy for it. You're crying tears of joy. I realized that I was recently crying about my biological dad passing away. I also was crying tears of joy. I was saying, I can see these tears. I can see the tears, and I promise you, the tears are sympathy. I realized that tears were sympathy. I realized I need to change this scenario, and I need to cry, and I need to realize that he's going to die, and he's going to be with Jesus. I realized I have to challenge my own tears to say I'm really crying because of tears of joy. I'm really joyful that he's going to die. You understand? You have to challenge yourself. Most people will cry and never challenge themselves to become joyful while they cry. They just stay sympathetic as they cry. Go and forcefully change yourself to be joy in that moment. Give yourself a chance. You understand? Give people a chance to really improve. I realize that those people who are 5 years later hating you because of your drug habit that you did, I realize that they're still doing drugs. You have to understand that when people hate you because of something you did in the past 10 years ago, I realize that you have 10 years on those people. You have 10 years of life on those people. You understand? You did something far more than them. In the distance of 5 years, I can be reading 1 hour a day and have 5 years on you because you never read 1 hour a day. You understand? I will only ever have 5 years on you. I promise you that those people who say for 2.5 years never done anything, although they read 2 hours every day in the second half of the 2.5 hours, I promise you, although they catched up. You understand? You have to realize that you just never wait for anybody. You just go and learn and grow on your own time. I promise you that's the best way to grow. I promise you the best way to grow is go and find useful people who are today doing something to better the world. I promise you you'll find them. I promise you they look good. I promise you they speak better. I promise you they are doing everything better. You understand? they're better than yesterday. I realize no matter what, I'm better than yesterday. I'll teach you for the next 73 years about who to go to. I realize that I follow them. I realize that I follow Jesus the most. I realize that no matter what, the most important person in my life is Jesus. I never care about who's second and third and fourth and fifth. I never care. I realize that Jesus is my number one priority. You understand? You have to realize that everything else is just be positive and realize that there is always a positive way to do something. I mean, there's always a problem to be solved, and go solve more problems. You have to realize that you need to create yourself some videos. You have to create something of useful intent to show some compassion and some kindness to better your level of communication. I mean, if you're talking, I just seen this one and I was like this, and I seen this one, and I really didn't know what she was doing, and I seen her and I was like this, ow. I was like, wow. I heard her say, wow. I don't know what she's saying right now. I realize there are many drunk people like this. I realize they go, I don't know, and I swear that he went with another woman. I didn't care, but I just realized that I started crying because I never need to be around those people. Do you understand? I never need those people. I never need their sympathy. I realize they're just so sad about life. I never need to be around this type of people. I mean, they're so negative. You understand? I mean, they're so depressive. You understand? You need to be around people who are open-minded, who really speed. I mean, they can speak fast. I mean, they can do and teach something really quick. You understand? You have to be adaptive. You have to be really fast and on your toes. You understand? I promise you that about life, you need to be about life in a better way. You have to realize that your connotations must be in a better way. You have to realize it's always about a better way. You have to realize that it's about going to the warmer places in winter than colder places. I mean, I came to Brisbane. Today, I realized that today is 17 degrees and in Brisbane it's 10 degrees. I realized that it's 70% more warmer in Brisbane today than it is in Melbourne. I realized I only had two choices. I realized no matter what, that I would either go to Melbourne or Brisbane. I said, I'll come to Queensland because Brisbane at least is warmer and it's more tropical. I realized no matter what, the other day it was 3 degrees in Melbourne. I promise you that Brisbane was 17. I promise you that I just realized that it's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I can promise you that around 8 times is the temperature much more warmer in Brisbane than it was in Melbourne just a few days ago. You have to realize that no matter what, each and every day, I have a 70% increase in warmth in my life. I mean, I can go and never, I can never be cold. I'm not the ego. I have to realize that you never react in an ego way. You never do what egotistical people do. Sometimes you may run amok. You may say some stupidity in your life. You have to cut it out. You can only cut it out through better communication skills, and you need to do that in a journal constantly. You have to work your writing. You have to realize in order for you to grow, you need to communicate better. There's no way better to communicate at first than in a journal. You can get out your phone now. You can start writing in your journal. You understand? I see a reflection of me. Recognize that. Or it doesn't matter what, you have to see that from outside the box. You have to understand that you go and be a reflective person. You have to understand what reflective is. You be self-aware about what you're doing in daily life. You go and plan your whole 24-hour schedule on how you can have more time in your life. It's really that simple. I realize that when you have only 3 hours of free time in your life, I realize you're screwed. You need to have 24 hours of free time every single day. You have to go and open up 21 hours of your day in your schedule to do something and have free time. That's the whole point of living. You have free time, you can live, you have everything that you need. You can travel the world and you have free time 24/7. I promise you that's the only business that you need. I promise you these people who have these massive growth companies in terms of Forbes 500 and all of these companies that are still growing, although many of their employees are stuck. They're working for positions and many people never have time with them. Go and be a Forbes 500 company who's growing, although you have to understand that many people are growing, although you need to be a company on your own. You need to be a brand in your own right. You have to be a brand that's really escalating and being so big that you have no employees other than you just working for Jesus. I mean, you are your own employee, you are your self-employed person, you are your business person, you are your investor. You are working for Jesus. You understand? Your Forbes 500 company is Jesus. You understand? I mean, you never need to give people possessions in money to work for you. You understand? I mean, that's a shamble. I mean, that's a scam. You have to understand that many companies are doing this. I realize no matter what, that you just realize that you be self-reflective. You write in your journal every single day about how can you broaden your aspect of time in this life. I mean, I always have 24 hours of free time every single day. I mean, I have no 9-to-5 job. I have time freedom for life. I never have to work a 9-to-5 job ever again. I travelled Australia for 1 year now without the 9-to-5 job, and I've had 24 hours of free time every single day. I mean, I have 1 year on those people who've never done that. You understand? I mean, those people who have been working a 9-to-5 for 1 year, I promise you that I've already overtook him in 1 year. I promise you I've overtook him for 1 year because I've been out of the 9-to-5 job. I mean, I've travelled to Australia for 1 year. I promise you that I've overtaken those people who've never travelled to Australia for 1 year. You understand? I promise you that when you go and travel the world on your own, I promise you that your friends will never follow you. I promise you have no friends. I promise you your only friend is Jesus. You have to understand, your only friend is Jesus. I promise you that your only friend will help you is Jesus. I promise you that you need to help yourself now. You need to realize that you need to be your best friend in Jesus' name. You have to do everything for Jesus. I promise you that Jesus alone will never teach you anything. You understand? I promise you Jesus alone will never teach you anything unless you become open-minded to learn from Jesus. I mean, it's all about your perspective and where are you learning in life. I mean, you have to learn the most positive experiences in life. I mean, you live only once. I promise you, you only live once in Jesus' name. You understand what that means? I mean, you go and live only once in what Jesus will do. I promise you that Jesus has a straight line of habits. You follow them. And I promise you it's the best army traits and everything in terms of peak performance that you ever need. You understand? I promise you that Jesus has done that. I promise you Jesus, although never had big muscles and muscular muscles, you have to understand that Jesus was saying that I've got something more important to do than that. I promise you that Jesus was saying that I have limited time here in this possessions of a world. I promise you, no matter what, that Jesus was more inspiring than those people who have bigger muscles. You understand? I realize that many people have bigger muscles and are really, really never up there in life. I realize that the only person who's really a bodybuilder, and there are two of them, I mean there are three of them, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and there's also Arnold Schwarzenegger, and there's also Sylvester Stallone. We're really, let's say, always in the gym and pumping the weights and are really successful today. I promise you those people, I promise you many women though, will say, I go for muscle. I mean, you can look at Jesus and you can understand that Jesus would say, you're an idiot. You understand? I mean, you understand that already she would pick Jesus. I mean, everybody will pick Jesus. I pick Jesus over everybody. I mean, she would pick another man over Jesus because this man has a bigger muscle trait than Jesus. You understand? You have to understand there are so many blonde, stupid women out there. You understand? I mean, there's so many stupid women out there. I mean, there's so many stupid women out there that go for stupid men. I mean, they go for anyone. I never need you to be that type of person. I mean, for men and women. I never need you to go for stupid people. I mean, for the men, I never do it for the men. I do it for Jesus. I mean, you go for the best in life. I promise you that guys, I promise you that you men out there, you must never ever chase a woman. I promise you that the woman is a chaser. I promise you that the woman is a chaser. I promise you although that the woman goes for anybody. I mean, she thinks she's so smart in life. I mean, my cousin thinks she's so smart. You have to understand, no matter what, that you need to be smart. I promise you that I see she's closed-minded though. I mean, she's so jealous of me. I don't know why. I realize that it's just because she's closed-minded. You have to understand that she's also got some positive traits too. You have to understand that when you're speaking this manner, You're just being honest about it. You're just being honest because no matter what, you need to be honest. You can always talk about yourself in the best manner. Understand? You talk about yourself in the best manner. You talk about yourself in a way that you're growing and that you're going to really lift people. You have to lift people in a way that's going to be inspiring, and that you realize that you can always do a 1 hour, you can always do a 1.5 video also to make sure that you can just elaborate on something that you've done. I realize no matter what, that you just be a person of high intent. You're really growing. You're really doing something positive in your life. You realize no matter what, that you just inspire daily. You inspire people to grow, inspire people to do something positive, inspire people to really broaden their mindset. I promise you it's about that. I promise you it's about let's have a better attitude. I promise you it's about let's have a better compassion system in our lives. I promise you it's about free work. I need you to really grasp how it goes. I need you to really see that you need to focus on Jesus more. You need to focus on what meditation is. You need to focus on a better schedule for yourself. You need to focus on where is your money going. You have to realize that the money in your life is the habits that you've accumulated. I promise you that when you have better habits, you have more money. I promise you that health is wealth. I promise you that wealth is never health. I promise you many people confuse health and wealth. I promise you that no matter what you do, you just improve your habits and you never focus on the possessions of this world, because that way you will grow. You have to realize that everything that's important in your life right now is that you dedicate yourself in the best manner. I mean, do everything in the best of your ability. Make sure that you're a positive person. You have to see yourself in Jesus only. You have to see yourself better. You have to see yourself in a term that you never got your religious beliefs and any of your dignity from other people of this world except Jesus. I mean, go and figure out something that's really going to grow you. You have to understand that it's really about personal freedom. You have to understand it's really about let's find a better way where we can do something much more goal-oriented. You have to understand it's really about let's cause more interest. You have to realize it's more about let's look better. I mean, go and do what looks better. You understand? I mean, you have to understand you need to take the action. You need the encouragement. You also need to make sure that you go and find more encouragement. You have to find more encouragement every single day. You have to understand that when you see your mentors and you have 20 of them and they're posting every second day and they're posting every single day 1 hour videos, I promise you that you'll be inspired by that. You'll realize that they're doing their work, you're doing your work. You go and you tune into them. I promise you they will tune into you. I promise you that you will share content together. I promise you they'll call you into their podcast. You go there for free. You give the money for it. I promise you that all the money you're giving is everything that you are today. I promise you that no matter what, you're never the possessions of this world. I promise you just go be with people when they call you and invite you. You understand? I mean, never be ashamed of who you are. I mean, go and show yourself. Be in the spotlight. I mean, be a person who's really emphasizing for a better way. You need to be that type of person. You need to be a person who's really showing yourself that you can do it. You need to show yourself that you can really love yourself much more than everybody else. You need to prove it to yourself first. You have to understand that's the whole point of growth. You have to understand that this content in this video is for free. I mean, it's priceless. I'll never even price it. You have to understand that many people will go and put this audio and price it at $50 to sell you a lie about self-education. I mean, they sell you a lie based on possessions. You understand? I mean, they ask money from you. I mean, they're asking for possessions from you. I mean, they're stupid people. You have to understand they're stupid people. I mean, when they're teaching that, I mean, you never go and learn from them. You understand? I mean, I go and see what they're up to. I realize that I see what they're up to. I just go around what they're saying. You understand? I realize no matter what, you just go to Jesus because Jesus will never teach you that. I realize that I go there, for example, I go around these people to just figure out what they're doing. You understand? I mean, they have free knowledge that they may give me. I realize that they may ask you for some possessions. I realize they're really stupid people. I realize there are many mentors of mine who have the ability to go and charge people. I realize that I'm never jealous about that. You have to realize that the whole point of life is to go and do it for free and never charge to get some possessions from someone. I mean, you have to understand that Jesus never worked for possessions and will never ever ask for someone to give him some material items. You have to understand, when you're asking for material items, you're asking for sadness in your life. I promise you, I have mentors who are doing that. I promise you that they have real estate and that they're charging for their content and making these seminars and causing all trauma for people. You understand? I mean, I go and get updated and I update myself in terms of what's going on around the world in Jesus' name. I mean, I relate everything to Jesus. I mean, what they say, I just go to Jesus for it. I mean, I write notes based on what they say. I just go and dwell into what Jesus needs. I although get some encouragement, I may get an idea or a nice, beautiful saying, an idea that I agree on with those people. I promise you, although the content is for free, I promise you that many of the worldly matters will lead you astray. I promise you, I never go there. I promise you that the best way is just go Jesus. I go there because I can outmaneuver them. I mean, I'm smarter than them. I can go and see what the guy's up to. I can already tell that. I can already tell they're talking about $100 million and how to make it. I never care about that. I just go and learn it anyway. I mean, I go and see what they're up to. I mean, I just go dive in. I realize it's so stupid. I laugh in a positive way where I just say, you guys are so stupid. You have to realize that it's more about, you never call people stupid. You have to realize that it's more that you're learning from them. I realize that I'm learning from them. I'm just realizing that I'll never do what they're doing. I realized in that manner, I call them stupid. You understand? I mean, when you're a person who is a meat eater and never does what I do in terms of veganism, and you never need to do veganism, you're calling me stupid for that. You understand? I mean, it's clearly obvious because you never agree with me. I mean, when you're a person who's a meat eater and agree with me because of veganism and what I've taught about it, and you agree because I've inspired you, I promise you then, you're much more smart because I can see how veganism is and you never even seen veganism because you're a meat eater. I mean, you can never judge me based on how I feel. You understand? You have to understand that when I'm sober and you've never been sober, you can never judge me about how it's to be sober. I mean, you have always been sober. You've been sober and then been taught by other people to go intoxicate yourself. I mean, when I started off as a kid to be sober, and I say be sober because alcohol is shit, and you get offended, and then you get 3 Australian guys to come and attack me. I had this happen to me in Cairns. I mean, you have to understand, I was about to fight 3 people. I mean, they were attacking me. I realized I had to get myself a selfie stick. I had to get myself a selfie stick. I had to realize no matter what, I had to go against 3 guys. I realized they're into alcohol too much. You understand? You have to realize no matter what happens, that you just be careful. I promise you that you never go around nightclubs. I promise you'll find stupid idiots. I mean, they'll attack you for no reason. I mean, they'll attack you because they don't know what they're doing. I mean, they attack you in the way that they attack Jesus. I mean, you stay away from them. I mean, you never go there. I don't know what you're going to do there in a nightclub. I promise you that Jesus never went to a nightclub. I promise you that Jesus was never having threesomes. I promise you that Jesus was never having foursomes in hotel rooms. Understand? I promise you that Jesus was never snorting the cocaine and going to nightclubs to have a one-night stand fuck. Understand? I promise you Jesus was never doing that. I promise you that Jesus never had sex with your mother either. You understand? And you have to respect Jesus for that. I respect Jesus that nobody, in terms of Jesus, has done that. You have to understand, I respect that. I see that is kind. You understand? You have to realize, though, that it's just respect about that. You just be a kind person. You be a kinder person. You have to remember that it's about being better. I mean, never just be kind. I mean, it's easy to be kind. I mean, how many times are you going to be kind? I mean, when you're kind, you can be kind once. I mean, when you're more kind, you can be unlimited times kind. You understand? You have to be more, guys. You have to be more. You have to do more. You have to realize more. You have to be more aware. You have to be a better person. You have to be a better spiritual person. You have to be better in everything that you do. You have to be all you can be, as Jim Rohn says. I will let you go in this video, guys. I have to upload this one. I realize no matter what, I will do another hour. Otherwise, it's just my time here to show you that no matter what you're doing, guys, just enjoy your day and realize that God really loves you. You have to realize that Jesus loves you. You You have to realize that you go to Jesus for everything. You have to realize that if you're inspired by this video, I need you to go and share it. I need you to go and share it freely. I need you to realize to do it for Jesus. I promise you that you never do it for me. I promise you I never need you to do anything for me in life. I never expect anything from you. I need you to share this video for Jesus though. I promise you guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.